Yes.
I love it when I have people who are here again and again, because that way we can like get. I mean, we already have rapport, but it just you get more comfortable.
Yeah.
Everything is more comfortable, and then we can just like flow.
Yeah.
So like we're about to do the damn thing. So you guys, okay, thank you for tuning in. Again, you guys are far away. We are far away, trying to respect some distance and rules there.
Yeah.
But you guys are far away, so we cannot see who's coming in or your comments, and we'll check it at the end like I normally do. So for everyone, hello, hi. For a couple announcements, well, actually, first announcement is I just want to say thank you again every single week to my Patreon. People who are joining in and supporting me at $5 at a time, 10 and 25. I really appreciate you. The people who donate $25, we actually get to meet with each other.
Yes.
And, yeah, for like 30, 45 minutes, and we talk every month about race issues, about anything really, and it's really cool. And so I have a few, a couple more than a few that do the $25, and we're getting to know each other, and we're having great conversations. So
Good.
There's that. Yeah. Pretty soon we're gonna have merchandise out. I'm changing my logo. I know it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be, but you. Wait until you see the new logo. It is fire.
I want to see it.
It is so good. I can't wait to tell you. And as soon as it's done, I'm going to tell you who the artist is, and when it's completed, we're going to have the merchandise out. Get a T-shirt, get a hoodie, get a mug.
Yes.
And I am going to be giving them to my Patreons. Actually, at whatever level that you do for like the first 30 days that we have it. So I'm just going to be giving merchandise out, stickers, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. Do you have any announcements about Escape? You want to say anything?
I don't have any announcements right now.
Right
I don't
now?
think.
I know, I put that on you. I just was like, boom, what do you want to do? Sorry.
That's all good.
But you know what? Think about it. If anything comes up,
Okay.
and if y'all don't know, she owns a dance studio here in Eugene. Because a lot of our listeners actually aren't in Eugene, so it's good to tell them, who you are. So Escape Dance Studio is amazing, and she works very well with the youngins. And is there another studio that's Black owned in Eugene?
There is not.
There's not, so you are the only one.
Yes.
Okay, so there you go, you have it. The only Black owned dance studio in Eugene. That's what I was thinking, but for some reason, I thought there was there ever another one?
There was never another Black owned.
Okay.
There was a woman she's Panamanian and Indian, like India descent.
Yeah.
Who owned a studio. She
Okay.
sold it. There are some groups that are from BIPOC people, but
Right.
nobody else is Black owned.
And that owns the space.
That owns a space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know, because I knew that there was other people who were of color who were dancing, but I didn't realize that there was like, you're the only one who actually went ahead and did the thing.
Did the damn thing.
Did the damn thing. So I say this, and it goes right into what we're talking about with white versus black versus white hustle in COVID-19. So just to get directly to start getting started, hold on 1 second. I totally forgot to do this, and I am not y'all ain't about to get me slipping on my audio. So y'all just gonna have to hold on just a second. Oops. Anyway, oh no, girl, this is what happens. This is what happens every time. I was just telling Vanessa that like I don't have.
I think your caps is on. You're all caps. There you go.
What would I do without you? What would I be doing right now without you, Vanessa? Yes, that is what the problem is. Okay, let's get to starting. Okay, just kidding. Welcome to Black Girl from Eugene. Now we're starting. Okay. So anyway, ignore that. Don't
okay,
worry about it.
I'm all looking at it.
I know.
Like, what's happening?
Don't worry about that audio. Don't worry about it. It's weird because you see all the voices and all the
Does that mean we're loud? That's up there.
You see it loud like that? I know. Because you see the red?
Yeah.
I think it's because this is on loud. Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay, see that's better. Oh no, we're just loud. Don't worry about it. Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, so anyway, Black women's hustle, white women's hustle. Not women, people, the whole group in COVID-19. So we're coming today with some. I was just telling Vanessa, like I am feeling very weird and kind of frustrated.
Yeah.
Just like thinking about going to school, the kids going back to school in the fall. Thinking about the fact that I'm no longer working at a job. I'm going towards self-employment at 100%. versus as a supplement,
Right.
You are owning a business. You have small children, well, younger children. My kids are up like 16. My youngest is 16. Your youngest is
8. Yeah.
So you still have itty bitties, right?
Yeah.
And so we were just talking about like how COVID has come into our life, everybody's lives, and turned this shit upside down.
Jacked it up.
And we're like talking about like the levels of options and things that we have to do and what we have to do to get there. And the assumption of privilege, the assumption of money over people, like all of these things happening when it obviously and completely, like anything economic in this country, disproportionately affects Black people more than other groups, right? And if in our proximity to whiteness, it's like the community that we have is slim and small. So I'm also combating saviorism, right, from white folks, meaning that combating it, meaning that like that's not something that I can depend on.
It's not.
Right? Like you can't depend on all of a sudden this flood of people coming to your studio that they're going to be here 6 months from now because we don't. It wasn't there a year ago.
It wasn't. We talked about this maybe 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah.
About how people are coming out of the woodworks all of a sudden.
Right.
And it's new. Financial support and just even the support online.
Yeah.
I mean, has been way more than it's ever been, but I'm still looking at it sideways.
It feels uncomfortable at some point.
Yeah.
Because like actually I just had this incident happen to me where I do anti-racism conversations. And so I meet with people and like the sessions are 2-hour sessions. I meet with groups no bigger than 10 and we discuss racism. We discuss how they participate in racism. We discuss anti-racism. We discuss what it looks like on an everyday basis, right? It's actually a great alternative to like actual diversity trainings, which I had done before too. It just doesn't get the same impact.
Totally.
So when I was doing those, as I'm doing these conversations, I came across a group of people who wanted to do it, but they were like a group of like 500 people.
Oh.
Right, and so I was like, no, we can do this. Like, it's just going to take some time. We'll work out the schedule, whatever. And then when we started to say that it was good, each session needed to be 2 hours. The issue was that it was 2 hours long. They were like, I'm like, it can't be less than 2 hours. Like, we're talking about racism.
Yeah.
And how you personally perpetuate this racism. Like, I understand that it's hard to understand how you do it every day with things that you do every day, but we're going to talk about it. You can't do that in less than 2 hours and be effective.
Yeah.
Right? And so they were like, oh, yeah, it doesn't really work with our schedule.
So that's money over people.
That's money over people.
And you know what? This whole thing that we're going through in the world right now is money over people.
That's it.
And we're sitting here, we're getting money over people.
Right.
This whole time we've been feeling like we weren't getting the support aspect.
Right.
Now people want to throw money at it.
Yeah.
But like what's winning and what's going to win out right now is people going back to humanity and dropping the money thing because people are becoming unemployed.
Yes. People
who are self-employed are struggling. We're having to hustle to figure it out.
And that's the whole thing about this. Like the money over people thing, like he actually did not have race or anti-racism as something that was priority for him
before this
or now. Like even when I say it's going to take 2 hours and he's like, could you make it 30? Because they're at lunch. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing. Can you make it an hour because that it's off of my work schedule? Which most people will be like, well, that's reasonable. Well, the thing is that what part is performative? Are you asking for the anti-racism conversations because you really want to have a better working place? You want to open it up for people to feel welcome post-COVID, post this elliptic like crazy shit that we're going through right now?
Yeah.
What was the reason for reaching out to me? Then saying it doesn't really fit for my schedule. You have to make it smaller. We'll pay you about the same kind of, but I needed to do. The thing is like this. What I'm trying to say is that when he decided that it wasn't worth the money to do these conversations, right? It wasn't worth the time and the money. So for me, as a business owner, right?
Yeah.
And him as trying to save his company from being, Black Lives Matter being targeted as someone who doesn't support Black Lives Matter, right?
That's big.
Feeling that he was going to be targeted. That's what I think it was.
Yeah.
So he reached out. It was inconvenient. And so now the point is that, like, I can't rely on white people's deciding whether or not what we're doing, Black lives, the information, being able to be progressive is worth their time. Like, it's not something that, does that make sense? It's
like, you don't want to work with those people anyway, because that's performative.
But I think most of it is, I don't know that, I'm trying to decide what part of it is and isn't, because this is my livelihood too.
Right.
It doesn't matter that they want to buy it's like buying a product. If you don't want to buy anti-racism conversations,
right,
that's fine.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? But the truth of it is, it's like, let's just be honest about what we're moving forward in.
Yeah.
How much of this work, the hustle that I'm doing to do the work that I have been doing,
already, before all this.
Before all
of this. You've been doing this.
Yes.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
So the fear of it is that now, with COVID, going back to work or going to work as an essential worker or a non-essential worker is like super problematic. Where is the benefit either way? When you have kids that have to go to school, when you have economic needs that aren't being met, when you have when you're selling something or in the business of something that's like, that's, what is it? What would you call it?
We need to redefine essential work.
Right.
That's essential work.
Right.
This is a new society we're going into, or it has the chance to be.
Right.
And what you're doing, whether people want to get on board with it or not, this is essential work.
But this is considered elective, just like Dan. I personally think health.
Yeah.
Self-care,
mental health, that type of stuff.
It's all essential.
Art,
right. So right now, that's how I really do feel. I feel like art and mental health and self-care is essential. Because how are we going to even, like, from my past, I don't see how people will survive.
We won't.
This level of stress and straight up just bullshit.
Yeah.
And be okay at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, so dance, as much as it is, like people say, elective, it's actually kind of essential, just like the gym, just like exercising, hiking, just like going kayak, whatever your choice of mental, like, stability that gets you there, why is that being taken as an elective choice? You see what I'm saying? And then people have to choose between their self-care, what you're doing, what I'm doing, essential work, and living, like literally paying their bills. Paying their electric bill.
Such a huge conversation, because we're talking about aside from COVID, reconstructing the way we look at existing.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And you're doing something that you've already been doing this. You've already realized how important this type of work is, and now you're feeling all of this push and pull because there is an influx of people who are now realizing that what you're doing is essential.
Right.
But you can't really trust that because it's only happening now, but you've been out here doing that. So you're like, how do I maintain, how do I trust that I can jump into this self-employment adventure and really be able to maintain a life?
Right.
Because you haven't had this type of support before.
No, I haven't had this type of influx of purchases. I don't know. I'm really hesitant to say support. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have a few people I'm working with who are super supportive. They are spreading my name. They're I've gotten like referrals off of them. They're like, I want to do more. We did 3 sessions. We want 3 more. Like, that to me is support. Not only am I buying your product, but I'm going to spread your name. I'm going to put my name on your website. Like, tell them to call me. Like, that kind of person for me, that's supporting me.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, like, people who purchase my conversations it's not awesome. It's awesome. It's absolutely amazing.
Right.
I'm looking at it like with what you're saying, the essential part of it.
Yeah.
How essential are people seeing race relations right now in the face of COVID? With Black Lives Matter being like a nuisance at this point for other people who are like, we just want to get our work back. Don't forget, that's not why you don't have a job.
Right. Right.
However, Black Lives Matter is not why you're not at work.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like this, but it is a part of how this whole system is changing massively.
Yeah.
So it's important. People like in your business, it's important that you get that you get empowerment for your Black children. It's
Right.
important that you get mental health by taking them to a dance studio and you go and meditate.
Yeah.
Go read.
Yeah.
Go have some bubblehead. I don't know. Go
Yeah.
do whatever you do.
Right.
It's essential.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I'm most concerned about now is like, as we're going into the fall,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids have to go back to school,
Yeah.
and these people, we're like, you and I were talking, like, you're lucky, like I'm super air quoting lucky,
Right.
that you're self-employed. But you've been doing the damn thing since how old?
19.
Since 19.
That's 16 years. Okay.
You're like, hold up. Right? I've been doing it for 16 years?
Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah.
And so you've been able to sustain yourself for 16 years.
It hasn't been cute. Like, it's been
It ain't pretty.
You know, I feel like I've been one of those people who's fortunate,
Yeah.
like who like from a young age, I knew what my calling was gonna be.
Right.
I knew I was gonna dance. I knew but I didn't know what shape that was gonna take.
Yeah.
And one of the things that has served me well, because I have had business failures, I've had all types of, from financial to social, like I've been up and down and up and down. But one of the things that has served me and what I've learned from running a business is to be adaptable.
Right.
And like right now in this COVID situation, which is completely separate from the Black Lives Matter thing, we can talk about that too.
All day.
But like, I am adaptable.
Right.
And that is what has served me right now. So going back to school and everything and looking at what I have to do, because you could sit and work on your business 9 to 5, even if you're self-employed. When I first started, I used to work on it like 14 hours a day.
That's what I'm doing.
You know what I mean? You have
Constantly.
to do that. Yeah, constantly. But one of the things that is good, quote, quote, is that I can make my own schedule and adapt to what the needs of my kids are going to be, which I have no idea even how to start with that.
Right.
Honestly.
Right. And you've been and that's my whole point of that. You've been doing this for 16 years and you're faced with something that you're like,
yeah.
Right?
Right.
So so I'm on the other side of that, where when I was 19, I was trying to go to med school. And so I was like trying to get like right into the center of the rat race, right? I was like 9 to 5, school is this and school is that, and I still like completely make sure I want my kids to go to school. I want my kids to go to college. I want, it's that kind of education base that's always been kind of in my family line, very, very important, right? And so I've always been like, this is what I'm going to do. So I had my son early. I was 18 when I had him. And then so I didn't go to medical school. I became a medical assistant, and then medical assistant to nursing, and then nursing because of all of other things. I just decided to go psychology.
You did a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, girl. Yeah, I'm all about it.
You on like life number 5 out here.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Straight A's, baby. I'm like, I'm about to make this done, and then I didn't even do it. So I went to psychology, and then I worked in social work.
Yeah.
And so I was like very much dependent on having employment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Having my check.
Yeah.
I show up, I do the damn thing.
Paid.
Pay me, right? And I think now, with what we do know about COVID and people who are in that position right now, I'm no longer in that position. We were talking about that because I've been directly pushed into this position in COVID straight through trauma. Mm-hmm. Like, it has been trauma that got me here. This was not like, yay, I'm about to do something good. I'm like, oh shit, I got to figure something out, right? Like, I mean, this is how this worked, right? I worked for the state of, or I think I've said this like 1,000 times in my podcast. I worked for the state of Oregon for like 7.5, 8 years or something like that. And it was 2 years ago that I stopped working there. And I stopped working there due to health issues, not because of any other reason. And it was directly related to stress.
I was going to say, you got to bring that up. You got to tell people about this because this is for real. This is going to be happening to people right now.
It was, right? Okay, so basically I was, and I think I've said this on my podcast several times, I was assaulted by police on the Eugene Police Department. And it took me, just so that you understand the assault, the severity of it, my concussion was bad enough that I don't remember 2016 or 17. I started to heal in 2018 enough to like record things and remember things. I was in physical therapy for 2 years. I still actually wake up in pain from my lower back. I can still feel the knee of the officer in my like there's damage that he did somewhere by putting his knee into my lower back, where I literally, if I sleep on my stomach, it will stiffen up. If I don't work out, it will stiffen up, and it hurts so much it wakes me up in the middle of the night. This is 5 years after the attack.
Nice.
So just so you understand the physical assault, right? So you imagine that. I don't go to work for about 3 months after the attack. Then I end up going back to work. And through all that, I was also going through lots of other stuff. I was going through a divorce. My child had a head injury. A lot of stuff was going on. So I remember sitting at work, right? A whole year. I cried every single day.
Oh, I bet.
Every single day. I cried for a whole year.
That's crazy.
I actually remember being like, oh, I didn't cry today. Like, it was like a moment, right? So anyway, so that went through, and that was before the assault. Like, that was just the stress, right?
Oh,
then the assault happened. Then I didn't go to work for 3 months. And then when I returned to work, I had the bad concussion. Mm-hmm. So my work was like falling apart because I couldn't follow instructions. I couldn't really remember. So I was having to write, like, I was doing the hustle. I couldn't not work.
Right.
Like, so I was writing stuff on sticky pads so I could remember what to do next and what I said I was going to do. I had to completely change how I showed up for work.
Yeah.
But I had no support at work. So I couldn't tell people what I was going through. Now, mind you, when you sue the police, because you know I did, when you sue the police, right, it doesn't happen like this TV shows where it's like, oh, they're charged, and they pull it up. And
How many years? How long did it take?
2 years.
I was going to say, yeah, 2 years.
2 years before I actually went to court. Now, mind you, in those 2 years, you're doing depositions, you're having to go over the audio, you're having to go over the visual, you're having to go get tested, you're having to do all these things, like mental tests, you're having 2 years of being battered, going over and over and over and over and over and over of what happened to you, right?
Right.
So, and I'm getting better the whole time, but stress.
But you're
is
at
building.
work still.
And I'm at work.
She's at work.
Every day.
She was already crying at work before this.
Right.
Like, this is important to know, though. Yeah.
The level of stress,
mm-hmm.
right? And this does not have to equate to being abused by the police. This is like stress, okay?
Before that.
Right.
Yeah.
That year of crying was before the cops, right?
Yeah.
That was just stress at home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then you come home and you come back and you do all this other stuff. So now we're on year 3 of stress. Now we've been in intense stress under COVID.
Yeah.
Well, we can just talk about, we've been under intense stress under Trump since so it's been 3 years of intense stress.
Yeah.
All the stuff that we've been worried about is happening.
Yeah.
Martial law is coming into play. The kids in the border are still in cages. Flint ain't got clean water.
The Epstein stuff.
Epstein.
Oh
man.
my
God.
I don't know how much. I've been following it, and at first I was like,
chills.
I know.
Like,
well, at first I didn't want to follow it, and then
so
I was like,
gross.
I can't be ignoring this stuff because I got kids. And
yes.
I sometimes as a parent, you be thinking like, what if my kids got snatched up one day? The thoughts go through your head.
Look, we're trying to be black. We're trying to have women's rights, and at the same time, I'm telling my daughter, please don't wear that swimsuit because these nasty men out here. What? How are these like? How am I able to support both things? She needs to be proud of her body and safe to wear a swimsuit.
That's a whole podcast conversation in itself.
Girl,
how to empower your female children.
We'll put a pin in it because we gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
And in this time of like the nasty, like oh my God, you gave me I'm telling you, goosebumps.
Yeah,
you mentioned his name. It was like not okay. So the stress. This has been 3 years of like whoa, right? Yeah. So then back to the story of how like I got to this point after I lost the trial, which was publicly aired and everything is public, right? Which was horrible. Lost the trial, blatant racist. Why? Judge was racist, jury was racist, their comments were racist, they're recorded saying racist stuff. So I lost the trial. It took me. As soon as I lost the trial, I actually then started to spiral.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Then I started getting sick.
Yeah.
Because then it'd been 3 years of like trying to push through. Like I can be adaptable. I can push. I can move. Go to work. I'm the only black person there. There's no support. There's I guess there was one other black woman, and we never really connected. We were on 2 different sides of the building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, it was like.
You started to get physically sick.
like
physically.
beyond being stressed and going through that, your body was like, oh hell no.
And I didn't recognize it because this is what was going on. I was lifting, I've always been athletic, right? So there's 2 years of physical therapy. They finally got my body to where I can lift weights again and do all this stuff, right? I was like, I'm doing fine. But then all of a sudden, I couldn't lose weight. Like I started gaining weight. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm doing everything that I've always done. Why am I gaining weight, right? The stress was happening. My adrenal glands were breaking down.
That's scary.
So I was actually not even aware that I was starting to peter out. Like literally energy, adrenal glands in your body produce energy so that your heart can beat, your brain can function. Like it's not just like energy like, yay, I'm happy, but energy like your body has enough cellular energy to function.
Right.
That's what your adrenal glands do, right? So I was like, so I didn't know that I was burning out. And I remember like having weird things happen to me, and I always had a reason for why they were happening, but it wasn't never that I was stressed out to the point that my adrenal glands were collapsing. Damn. So one day, I just was talking to my grandson, because he was like, I don't even know how old, little, and my daughter, my youngest daughter was with me, and I said, I was feeding him, and I just looked up, and I said, oh, I feel dizzy. And then my daughter was like, well, why don't you go sit down? I walked around the corner and collapsed.
Damn.
It was done. My adrenal glands was like, that is all I can give you. It is over. My
Damn.
daughter called my brother. My brother picked me up. Girl, they rushed me to the hospital, carried me in because I couldn't walk. I was vomiting. It was over. My body was done. And I felt fine 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. It was like, it worked so hard, and it was just like, we're done, right? So I was in the hospital. They didn't know what was wrong with me. They thought I was having a heart attack. My blood pressure was out. Like, it was like 100 and... no, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was like 90 over 40, which is nothing, right? My pulse was like 45 for like 3 days. I just puffed up and was swollen. My eyes were like, they were like, wow. And so my electrolytes and my salt was like, the sodium was bottomed out. Like it was.
Damn, my eyes are all wet. I'm like, what?
What? I know. And then I'm like on the phone, like, hey, how y'all doing? Like I'm just trying to push through. No, so I was in the hospital for like 3 days, and so I couldn't walk afterwards. I didn't have enough energy. I had to completely change my whole entire diet.
Yeah.
I had to completely change everything. It took me I had to walk assisted because I didn't have the energy. And this was 2018. So I actually got better enough. I tried to push through to go back to work. Girl, what's wrong with me?
I'm like, what?
As I say this, I'm like, what the fuck?
I didn't know you went back to work after that.
Yeah, and then
Damn.
that's when people were like, really didn't have. I mean, I didn't have any support. So at one point, girl, so stupid. Where were my friends? Where were y'all? They probably tried to tell me. They probably tried. But anyway, so I went back to work, and then finally, my supervisor said some stupid shit. I was like, I'm not well enough to do this certain thing, and she was like, I'm just gonna need you to do it anyway. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you have a doctor note that says that I'm not doing that.
Can't do it. Yeah.
Right. And so she's like, yeah, this is stressful for everyone, and I'm going to need you to step up to the plate and be a team player. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm never coming back. I went and did the thing, and I did not come back. I went on to long-term disability. I told that particular person to fuck off.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, I'm not coming back here. So that was like July. I got disability from work for medical reasons.
Yeah.
For 2 years. So, coming to now, you get 2 years of like straight healing, meditation. My energy finally came back. My diet was changed. Mm-hmm. I'm still working out issues from stress. Like the stress issues are real.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I'm still like me and my naturopath. Because I went naturopath.
Yeah.
The doctors were talking crazy. Naturopath came through.
Good for you.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, we need to talk about what's going on. And she was like, ain't nothing killing you but the stress. Like the stress of everything that you've been through. And now here we are. Girl, when COVID hit, she was on my phone. Like, look, you need to get your adrenal pills back on. You need to do your thing. You need to do this, that, to make sure that my body could handle the onslaught of the stress. Now, you don't have to be in my position to get knocked down by COVID.
No.
By the stress of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
The race war. Oh, the racial tension that's coming out of this absolutely needed uprising. Mm-hmm. Not having a job to go back to.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about, where I had to get creative.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's what I think, you said something earlier that made me think about this, but this is the difference between what Black people are facing now with a hustle.
Right.
Is that, okay, we're all stressed. Doesn't matter who you are, what color you are. By work and just what's happening in the world and our fucking president and all that.
Yeah.
If you are Black or a person of color and you have all this, we have to have a whole ass movement right now. Just to be like, hello, we're still here, we still need, all that.
Yes.
And we, whether or not we want to be directly invested in that or not on the front lines, like we are emotionally tied to it.
Yeah.
So we have this emotional stress that's happening from the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
That is pulling us all, that's getting us all excited, but it's taking our energy whether or not we're out there or not.
Right. Period.
And so that just like your other situation outside of work is taking your energy, a
time.
lot more of it, and then we have to show up to work or we don't get to show up to work.
Right.
Or we have to hustle our own business. We're like,
even when I was at work though,
Yeah.
the stress that I was getting
yeah.
was, the non was, I believe like with all my heart,
Yeah.
that I was not getting support because I was a Black woman and they
Right.
did not know, literally they did not, like, I don't know if they didn't know what to say, because that's what they said. They
Yeah.
were like, we just don't know what to say. Now this is Black Lives Matter shit 2 years before it was popular.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so I'm dealing with all these people who don't know what to say to me.
Right.
And now here it is 5 years later from then, 3 years later from the court date,
Right.
and I'm getting flooded by people who are like what you were saying, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Understand, like, and we've talked about this on previous podcasts, the hustle that I was trying to do to be present.
Just to show up to where you normally did.
Normally did.
Yeah.
Right? With all this racial stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that behind me, and
Yeah.
all this racial erasure happening in front of me, right? So then fast forward to now.
Would you say it's magnified for you now? Like, because this stuff has always existed.
Right.
But would you say that because there's a whole ass movement that's gaining popularity and stuff, that these issues are magnified? Like you're feeling them more now than before, or are you feeling better about it?
I feel like it, for like, thank God that I've had so much support from my like health support from my providers. Like I want to name them, like Kathy, Kevin, Lisa, Ben. These people worked on my body for 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, till now, I still
Yeah.
work with Lisa and Ben all the time to keep me here,
Yeah.
like mentally here.
Right.
I being privileged, air quoting, was able to take 2 years off of work and
Yeah.
then decide not to go back.
Right.
Right? 2 years because I worked for the state. I had benefits. I
Yeah.
was paid well.
Mhm.
Right? So I'm privileged as hell
Yeah.
to be able to have this level of stress
Right.
and be able to go, you know what? I'm going to go hike today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. Right? That's privilege.
Right.
So when you're asking me that question, it's like it is stressful, but because of because I utilized what I had that I'd earned from work, I can lean back and protect myself from the level of the stress that is coming to me.
Yeah.
Because I have this cushion for 2 years.
I love this.
Does that
because-
make sense?
Yes, in my head, I just had this thought, like, that's the difference. That's the difference, because you keep saying privilege. Black people have to go out and create their privilege.
Yes.
We have to, and you have to, 16 years I've been doing this to be able to be like, I have to hike today, or
Yeah.
whatever. I have to build this pillow. It takes all these
Yes.
years just to be able to be like, I need to take a break today.
And people will look at my situation and be like, well, you're Black and you had that.
You had to work your ass off to get that.
Ass off.
So.
Right? Ass off.
I don't know how many years you were in school and shit, but like, and raising kids.
I went to school from 18 all the way through with 3 kids as a single mother. I obviously had relationship divorce in between that,
Which is another trauma.
trauma, right? But I worked my ass off. I mean, I remember going to school talking about white folks. So you got to go to school, you got to get your degree, right?
Yeah.
I remember not having a car and not living in a very small apartment, having to take my kids in a bike with a trailer in the snow.
Yep.
To get to class.
Yeah.
Because I did not have the option to not go to class.
Right.
Right? Because I had to not only was the professor not helping a sister out,
Right.
Right? I had to be there and I had to get an A. And best belief says pulled A's.
Yes.
Right? But the truth of it is that look at the level, the degree that I had to go to.
Yeah.
Just to show up, just to get the teacher to listen to what I had to say, just to get the teacher, So it was a lot. It was the hustle. And when I think about the privilege of my employment, and I think about people now, because you asked me how do I feel about it now?
Yeah.
I think about that, being that, like I said, I got pushed into self-employment through trauma because my privilege ends.
Yeah.
It's ending. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting that check.
Right.
So I got to pull up and like try to make my side hustle a full hustle.
Right.
That's because I worked my ass off. That's because I am educated. That's because I am the people who have enough family that can watch a child here and there when I'm
Right.
I remember taking a final for summer school, and I was doing like microbiology and physiology all at the same time. And I had my brother drove to California, because I was living in LA, to pick up my kids so that I could do 6 weeks of school, right? Now, who has that?
Damn.
That, you see how, I know how lucky and privileged I am,
Yeah.
but who has that?
Yeah.
So when you're asking me, I look at people who are not like us, who can't go, you know what, I have this other skill, I'm going to dip into that, I'm going to try to make it work. Hopefully I do. If I don't, I can still go get a job, hopefully, right?
Right.
I'm looking at people who were me 15 years ago, who are going to school with small kids, who don't have, this option, whose family isn't here.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they gonna do? Like, I mean, honestly, if it was me right now, oh my God, I don't even know. With small kids, they're like, oh, homeschooling, let's do the pod education.
Right.
How?
You can't. I don't know what any of that would cost. What this pod education thing is costing people, but I'm gonna say that for most people, it's probably not attainable.
Not attainable. What is the gas attendant going to do with her 5-year-old child, who is supposed to be in first grade, or 6-year-old child, who's the gas attendant?
Yeah.
What is she going to do with the 6-year-old?
The grocery store worker, any of these jobs.
What are they going to do? Those are essential.
Essential. Yeah.
Because please, Lord, do not close the grocery store.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Oh my God, sis can only grow so much food. Like, I don't know how to do it all. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
my sister was like, not my sister, who wasn't, I don't know, her friend was like, I don't know how to grow beef. Like,
we're gonna be vegetarian up in here or something.
I'm gluten free. Like, I'm particular about my shit. Like, I can't just be doing everything. Like, I'm having to, like, I'm looking at it like I'm joking about it now, but that shit is, September is coming and school is opening, and people are having to decide what the hell are they going to do.
So this is an interesting. I mean, I have a different mindset.
Please,
than I think a lot of people, because, and you probably do too, which is interesting because you've been like, I'm showing up, I'm getting paid, and I've tried that.
Right.
And I feel blessed. And my mom was a department head at the U of O. And my dad was an entrepreneur, so I grew up with both of these things. And the calling in me to be independently doing my own thing has been very, very strong my whole life. Even in the times where I've been like, I'm showing up to work, I'm getting paid. And I think this is like a restructure of how we teach kids.
Yes.
Because what we do is we put kids in school and we teach them these skills that are skills that they need for industry, right? But the world doesn't, I mean, especially right now, like we need all of the elements to get by. And we need to get to a place, we need to all take a breath and be like, what is my calling? What do I offer the world? And I think the answers for a lot of people are going to be not what they show up to do every day.
Right.
And we have to just, this is hard to say this because I know what it's like to be broke, and I know what it's like to not have a place to go, and like I know these things, but like we have to get to this place where we trust our intuition and ourselves enough to let go of everything and be like, what can I offer this world, and to take the jump and to do that, because the world's not going to transform as a whole until more of us do that.
I'm worried. No, I love what you're saying, but what I think about, like, to juxtapose that, like, what I think about are the people that I served when I was working as, as a social worker.
Yeah.
Like, the people that I would encounter, in my nonprofit, when I was when I worked in the medical field, like, we had a nonprofit that worked with single mothers that were abused, and so it's like, I think about, because
it's not attainable for everyone right now.
That we have to create things without this economic push, and that's where I think is weird, because people got to pay bills. We all got to, like, the mortgage and the rent is there. Like, we're trying to, like, when I say all, like, we're the people who are housed, we're doing these things, right, to try to maintain it. For the first time in the whole wide world, like, we're talking about Bezos made $13 billion in one day, and all of us are closer to being homeless than we will ever be to being a billionaire.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we're supporting that, Like that's the mindset of looking at like people like us who are talented enough, who are gifted enough with family, with education, with money, to create spaces.
Yeah.
But there's other people who are wealthy, white people, who are wealthy, who have equitable means. That we're going to have to come up with a whole different way of doing this, because we can't expect the school system. There's another thing about the school system. We can't expect the school system to be. Public school is supposed to work.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for us.
Right.
We're supposed to say how the fuck that goes.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So making pods, the homeschooling pods, it's a cute idea if you've got the money.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the people who don't, you know?
And that's what I'm saying. It's not attainable for everyone. Like, this is like me saying, speaking from my place of privilege.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. It's a restructure of society, and it's going to make all of us, no matter where you're at, like, so uncomfortable for a long time.
Well, it's just like what you're saying. Like, you have your space. You created a space. I've created a space.
Yeah.
So when someone comes in who can't afford this space, do you have enough means to offer scholarships?
Yeah.
I actually don't. I'm just starting. I'm not 16 years in.
Right.
What I'm doing, like when people want to buy my conversations, the money is going not only to my well-being and my life, but it's also supporting my nonprofit, who when it runs in next summer, if we Lord have a next summer, the way I envision we do, it will support that.
Right.
But where is that money coming from?
And I'm going to say no. Right now, I can't offer, like, the scholarships that I normally do, right? I've been doing this for a long time.
Right.
But that's how scary this time is.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. And I'm facing it, too. It doesn't matter how long I've been in business. Right now, everything's so unpredictable. I'm on the edge.
Right. And that's my whole point, is that you're established.
It doesn't matter. It ain't there. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And on the edge. There's businesses here who've been here all my life.
Turtles
gone.
closed down. Can you believe that?
Turtles? What?
Yes.
I did not know Turtles closed down.
I just drove by there and I was like, "What? That's serious. That business has been there since before, like high school.
Since before
that.
Yeah.
That's how
They have my favorite drink. I did not know that.
I drove by because I live up in South Eugene. They had a for sale sign on the door.
For sale? They're oh.
Yeah, I mean that's how serious it is right now. Coca doesn't care who or what or how long.
None of it. But I want people to really understand when we're talking about black hustle versus white hustle, right? The access to loans, the access to financial wealth, the access to the job, that people who are like me, who would have had to try to go back to work, who've lost their job. Their jobs aren't there anymore.
They're not there.
Turtles is closed. That's employment gone.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're trying to get back and we're trying to get work, we're not hired at the same rate as white
I can't
folks.
hire people right now.
Well, black folks aren't. Even if you could, you would hire black folks. But I'm just saying, on an average, we don't get the job the same. We're not getting the same pay. So all of these things are extremely, extremely prevalent.
Yeah.
When in this moment, like we're crazy because honestly, like when I say crazy, like thinking, we're just gonna, I'm just gonna start a business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna start another business. Like we are out here, like you said, with a level of courage and a level of fuck it.
Yeah.
To be where we have to survive. This is what we're doing. But none of us we don't know what October looks like.
Hell no.
I don't know what December looks like. But what I want to make sure is that we understand that, like, as much as you're hustling, as much as I'm hustling, as black women, we have to see each other. Yeah. And somehow, the white privilege and the white resources that they have, please see each other. Please see us. Yeah. We have to recreate something that's not episodic. Because you're feeling a way about black people right now. Right. We're economically in this game, struggling just like they are, but with less means to recover. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Right? It's like with less means to recover. So please, like, if you're going to get all on the Black Lives Matter and like, ooh, Black Lives, like, please understand that this is a livelihood for people. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't just, like you just said, if the studio doesn't work out, people stop supporting whatever because of this situation. Right. I cannot, where am I going to get a job? Right. Where? That's how, girl, that's why I say trauma pushed me into this. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was like, if I don't, as soon as my disability is over, which it's over, it's like, where would I work?
Yeah.
The state is frozen. Not that I ever want to go back to something so traumatic,
Right.
but the state is frozen.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, at my level of income, where am I going to go? At my level of education, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
I can't walk into anywhere because those are all like locked down. We got our 5 people. We're going to work to death.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? And we ain't hiring no more.
Right.
Out of survival. Right?
That's
But
crazy.
here we are, like, and I can jump out and say I'm going to try to do, self-employment, because if my shit crashes, I have a sister who will pick me up. I have a brother who will pick me up.
Right.
Thank God they both own their houses, because I don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's like I have family. I have parents.
But what about the people that don't? There's more people who don't.
That
who don't
do.
have that. Yeah.
I am not at all saying that this is normal.
Right.
I know that it's not normal,
Yeah.
and I'm over here scared.
For
so
the-
I can't
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. People are probably beyond terrified. And where's the help? Where's the government? What's
Government, girl, we
It's
can't.
not happening.
Girl, we can't. They're sending militia.
Yeah.
They're sending, and I think that, like, right now, I don't know if it's me, that I just see Black Lives Matter, because that's my logarithm, right? They give you what you give, right?
Right.
They give it back to what
Yeah,
you give.
that's true.
So I don't know what the conversation is actually having outside of this a lot, because I know the economic push is like, I know that there's no push. It's just falling apart. I realize that. I see it.
Yeah.
I'm living it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like, what's the narrative around white folks, Black Lives Matter, in the economy? Like, are they putting
That's
those
an
two
interesting
together?
question.
But I
That's a
hope
really
not.
interesting question.
Right. I hope that that's not being scapegoated for no bullshit around the economy, because that is not about Black Lives Matter, right? Like, that is not about the movement at all.
No, it's not.
But yet, I don't see a lot of focus being on the economy crashing all around us.
Yeah.
I don't see that as much, and I don't know if it's my logarithm or if it's like not happening. The conversation's not
I
happening.
honestly think it's not happening, and we can go deep on some conspiracy type
Look, we
stuff.
got the time.
But we have touched on the 3 major things that are happening in the world right now.
Right.
If it's not one thing for a given person out there, it's another that is emotionally draining you, because we are people and we are empathic,
Right.
and we feel these things that are happening while on the forefront of, or behind the scenes. It's not even behind.
Okay.
The economic
Right
shit
on my
is,
face.
yeah, it's crumbling beneath us. So right now, where we've always been money over people, we're working, we got jobs. We are right now, for the first time as a society, like, oh shit, people over money.
Right.
And that's where we're at. So I think that stuff is not being talked about as much, because we are all opening up on a level where we're like, damn, we have not been taking care of each other, and
Right.
shit is fucked.
And I think, like, in terms of black and white hustle, when we're talking about this, like, that's why when I started the conversation off with what I was saying, was that because we're dependent, unfortunately, on white folks' money,
Especially
coming through,
here in Eugene.
especially here,
Especially, yeah.
and because the white folks are more resourced, right? That everything tends to be more with white folks. They own more businesses. They have more
I feel
loans.
like
They
that's
have
what
everything.
white people think when they're like, because they have that privilege, and this could be, I don't know if this is messed up, but when they think about caring about people and caring about the communities of color,
Yeah.
that is directly correlated with money.
Yes, yes, but
And
not
that
the
might-
people though.
That's what I'm saying, but that might be why psychologically,
Yeah.
that's a discussion
Girl,
too.
they were just hitting you like,
But right,
no.
psychologically, for them, that's what they think caring about us is.
Right.
Because they can see that disadvantage, and instead of like, I mean, because a lot of times I would rather people just show up. Like,
No,
what I've been
so
asking
do you
for this
think-
whole time is support of people showing up and using their voice.
Yeah.
And right now in this time, what I'm getting more of is people throwing money that way. But I'm like, no, I really would have liked you to be there when I needed somebody behind my back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying, but I that's the problem for me,
Mhm.
is that I don't understand the investment right now.
Exactly.
That's why I'm worried.
I think
because
that,
white
yeah.
folks do throw money,
Yeah.
but then they don't. And
Right.
then what happens to us when we still are not resourced?
Exactly.
We still don't have access
Yeah.
like they do. So
Right.
that what I'm saying is like, yeah, they're throwing the money right now. Like you're saying, like just show up.
Right.
But I'm saying for the people who aren't, and you have the wealth and you're sharing your wealth,
Mhm.
that's what you're doing to care.
Mhm.
It to me it's worrisome
It is.
because it feels like it's emotional.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For them, it feels like it's emotional.
They are
That's what I'm
helping in an
saying.
emotional way. So once they are okay, with Black Lives being like, then I still have not lifted up.
Right.
Because other than the money being thrown at me, which is appreciated, please continue buying my conversations.
Yes.
My point is the long game of this. With the investment in the change of having Black people actually come up and be a part of the conversation, where when this does dry up, even for the white folks hustle, because government coming for their ass too, right?
Yeah.
So when their stuff comes up, are we willing to have each other? Are you willing to hear me and say, I am struggling because I'm not resourced? Are you willing to let go of some resources? Are you willing to have us at the table?
Yeah.
Can we toss the table and recreate a whole nother thing?
I feel like that's hopefully I think the monetary thing is like, it's like learning how to self-care. Like I think the monetary thing being connected with emotionally caring is like, we are at square one.
Yeah.
I feel like those things are going to come as people get a better understanding of how to actually care. But I think what people are seeing, like for the first time, they're like, oh shit, these people don't have resources like I do. And to care, that's like their first knee-jerk reaction.
You're so sweet.
You're
so sweet. I'm like, oh, you have much.
I have
a
really
nice.
and she's like, girl.
I'm over here like,
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Okay, so let me just be really honest.
Do it, just go for it.
I don't think you're wrong. I just am more callous now.
You're skeptical.
I'm
more
skeptical now.
Yeah.
After everything I've been through.
Yeah.
With the opportunity to just care. Like what you were saying, to just show up.
Yeah.
Like that whole story I gave about me at work. Like,
yeah, that's messed up. I don't know if you
what,
told you didn't really go into it like we went to him, but that's messed up.
It's kind of the idea of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like the caring, they could have shown up.
Yeah.
Like when you leave work and you're gone for a month and you come back, and what normally happens when you're on a team of people, what normally happens? Welcome back.
Yeah.
Hey. They put it on your little whiteboard outside your cubicle.
Yeah, something.
Welcome back, little balloon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A little balloon, little
nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Yeah.
And I left several times before health, not a damn thing. But what I'm trying to say is, that may have been those group of people. Yeah, maybe. But it's the same idea. I mean, I haven't experienced much different than that. Yeah. It actually wasn't surprising. It just felt horrible. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like I was like shocked. You know what I mean? I was a little surprised that nobody, James Myers, you did. But you know what I mean? But like, it was one of those things where like no one really, even the gesture of I see you wasn't there.
Yeah.
So when you come now and all of us are struggling, white people are hustling, Black people are hustling, I am skeptical.
Yeah.
Unfortunately my work is dependent on white people.
Yeah, you're in a very niche type of
being concerned about other people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it if I didn't think white people were.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm depending my whole life on the fact really the fact that white people care.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't think they care, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at it like when the resources get tight, which they already are.
Yeah.
And we still got a whole election to go through. Girl, we just started. Like, we're just stretching, right? We about to go back into quarantine. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Right? And so, when the resources get tight, and you talk about money over people, and I'm thinking, when you say people, are you thinking Black people? Because if you're talking about, no, we're going to keep being here, we're in this fight. We're in this fight for equity. We're in this fight for human rights. Right? Because I don't want to keep saying Black Lives Matter, because that's one particular type of movement.
But there are a lot of things that matter right now.
Human rights. And Black lives is a part of that human rights fight. Yeah. So when we're all struggling, like, are we still going to be seen? Are we going to go back into the
I can't even tell you. I can't say yes or no.
I'm worried.
I'm worried too. But I think it's gonna get real bad, and I think my faith now it has to go into a humanity thing.
I keep pushing it.
You know what I'm saying? We got at some point we gotta let go and have faith in humanity that people are gonna rewire.
That is what, and really that is where my faith is.
Yeah.
Because that's how, I mean, I feel like that's where your faith is. When you show up to dance, and in the middle of a freaking pandemic, and you're like, come on, y'all,
Yeah.
it's on your arm. Dance to be free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're showing up in a very real way. I'm showing up in a very real way. I'm looking at white people going, let's have a seat. Let's talk. Let's talk this out. Because I know you're trying to work this out. I want you to work it out in a real way.
Right.
With a real person telling you how it really feels, right? And how it feels for you and for me. Mm-hmm. We're both doing real shit here, right? So I mean, I just want to give a moment to like understanding that, you know, your dance studio is essential. It's important, right? It's important. It's important just as a space.
Yeah.
For however people show up to it, it's important.
Yeah.
And I think right now as we're going down into
just say it.
We're going down.
Yeah.
No, because the truth of it is, like, I'm thinking about. I want to talk about the school, the kids going into school.
Yeah.
And the privilege of homeschooling.
Yeah.
Like, because we talked about. We're talking about our businesses as like, and I'm air quoting privilege, but essential, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, knowing about race relations it should be mandatory. Like, it's absolutely
beyond essential,
right?
Like,
moving your body to free your mental health needs to be actually mandatory to survive.
Well, and what I was gonna say before you were talking about, and you just brought it in. I mean, we need survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Is not going to be. It's no longer going to be equated to money.
Right.
It's going to have to do with how well you take care of yourself.
Right.
And we have to, and this is why, like, when I'm thinking about sending my kids back to school and homeschooling them, and what I'm like, I have to teach my kids how to be healthy and stay healthy and to be in touch with their mind and who they are and to understand what it's like to take care of themselves and do these things, because it don't matter. They don't have that together. All that's crumbling for everyone. I don't care how put together you are. I mean, you've been crying. Don't lie.
Okay.
You haven't been crying. Don't lie.
And if you ain't crying, you have a headache.
Something wrong with you.
You had a headache all week.
Yeah. Everybody's feeling it. Yes. And like, my thoughts about homeschooling stuff are like, I just have to make sure that my kids are healthy mentally,
right?
And that's going to be the new survival, I think.
That is. But I when I think back to my children being in school, I had two that were I still have two that were self-propelled, and one who needed help, right? Until we found the right space for her, and then she took off as well, right? I don't know. I just want to put it out there to everyone who's just like, well, we're just going to homeschool. We're just going to pod school. We're just going to do that. There are kids, okay, let's not even talk about the education part, but there are kids that when they go to public school, and this is why public school needs to be saved, it needs to be created for the people, by the people.
I know where you're going with this.
Those kids have to get away from home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Home is not safe.
Yeah.
Home does not have food. Home does not have sheets and bedding and someone to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's going to make me sad. I can't do it.
But let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would be surprised how many kids are homeless.
Yeah.
And show up to school.
To have a place to go.
With clean clothes. Yeah. They take showers at the shelter and they come to school and they learn next to your kid who is pissed off because they couldn't have a PlayStation or whatever the hell new now.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Yeah.
That kid is there. They're there.
So none of this, and you articulating through that, like, the facts are this, and I hate to be this, like, none of this shit's gonna work. None of it.
You're like, it's back to normal.
No, but it isn't, because even if we go back to, like, because they're not even talking about us going back to school, and what has to happen, again, there has to be an organization that goes in and takes care of these kids, or creates a safe space for these kids. They can't be at home being homeschooled.
No.
Even if it's like, because they're talking about hybrid, 1 week on, 1 week off. Well, what about that week off?
Right.
Like, that's going to be stressful for a kid like that.
Right now. I mean, like, suicide rates, no one's talking about it. You
know
what I'm saying?
It's jacked up.
And
then what if, this is what I was saying, this was like my first thought, because I was sitting there, going through stats and reading through stuff, and March was like one of the first March since 2000, I can't remember the date, it was like 12, where there was no school shootings.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're about to tell me that all these kids that are like on the brink of sanity, who were using school as a resource for like mental health and like using the counselors and things at school, You want to put all these kids back in school where our firearm sales are up.
Right.
Alcohol and drug use is up in homes
Yeah.
and probably from teenagers and things like that. You
Yeah.
want to put all these kids back in school together out of this situation.
With no resources to combat what the hell is actually going on now.
So yeah. So we're screwed on all the angles.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
But you know what? You know why this is why I'm gonna come Pollyanna with it.
Okay, bring it.
We're only screwed if we keep trying to go back to what the hell we had before.
That's what I'm saying. We
Stop
can't do it
with that shit.
Yeah.
And stop doing this exclusive. I don't think this exclusive, like, we'll just pod school our kids. Like, I get the meme. I understand that.
What else
but
do we do though?
But we have to demand better of our school districts. What are they doing with the money that they receive from the government for all of the lunches that they have, for all the the sports that they get, for all the endorsements that they get? What are they doing with it? Are they sending that money to where?
I have no idea.
I'm just saying, can we use that money to send it to the kids who are in trouble? Because they have a list of them.
And what would you? I mean, this is a big conversation, but like,
Can they hire teachers?
that's what I was going to say.
Can they pay
Send
teachers to
people
go out?
Yeah.
Right?
Why can't that happen?
I'm just saying, where's the creative thinking?
Because that is a real situation, like, that could happen.
That could happen.
There are hundreds, probably thousands of teachers that could be paid, still get their salaries, be funded to have, I mean, I don't know if it would be a homeschooling thing, but it would be free for these, like, not all these families can afford.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And mom and dad have to go to work.
All the money that's not being used.
Where's it at?
Where is it at?
I have no idea. If somebody knows where it's going.
Please let us know.
Yeah, I mean.
Where is it at?
Because that is actually, I mean, and there are tons of spaces around town that if,
I'm sorry, but I don't know about across the nation. I don't know how, I mean, I do know the weather is jacked across the nation, but here we got some dope weather. It's Sunday, it's 100 degrees outside, it's a little hot, right? But all I'm saying is between September and November, like there's options and there's spaces that aren't being used, right? I mean, we're building a massive kids sports thing. What the hell's going on at the U of O with that massive? I mean, there's got to be space, right?
This money, like, this is a whole conversation of how the money could go back into the community, even.
That's
because
what I'm
a lot
trying
of
to say.
these spaces, like this space we're in right now, is somebody in this community owns this space,
right?
And like, if there was a teacher coming in to teach class with a small group of kids, and then the space is making money, they can survive. Because I know, as a person like me who owns a space, like, my, being here is in question anyway, but if I could have a teacher teaching 10 kids inside that huge ass space, the district is paying me to host that.
I was just going to say, the district can pay you and
that's
that
what I'm
teacher.
saying. Like, this could be, the whole community could thrive off of being a little bit more creative.
That's all I'm saying. And by the way, if we weren't going to go back to school, are all the kids, why are we assuming all the kids have computers?
They don't.
But even if they don't have computers, why are you assuming they all have Wi-Fi?
They don't. I've run into that issue at the studio trying to put my classes on Zoom for the students. The parents would be like, we don't have Wi-Fi. And I'm like, shit. And
I'm sorry, but there are local Wi-Fi providers, not the big ones that are charging $85 for Wi-Fi. And by the way, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But, so, like, there are other ones who are doing it much cheaper.
Yeah.
EFN are doing I mean, you can do it for much cheaper. Why are we not investing and giving people hotspots in their houses to do their homework?
The local school district should be doing that for kids.
This is just creative thinking.
Yeah.
And you and I ain't got the money, but we somehow got the ideas. Again, who was at the table making this?
I don't know. Are there people
for our poor brown children?
I want to know. If anybody knows, are these the kind of conversations that are happening in the district? Because the emails that I'm getting,
it ain't.
Yeah, the emails that I'm getting are like, one, we don't know, or it's going to be some mix of something. But I haven't heard any ideas like sending teachers out in the community and utilizing community spaces that might shut down if they're not funded.
Hello.
Like, by the school district who has all this money. Where is it going during this time?
Right, and if the school district's talking about their fundings are getting frozen. Right, there's certain frozen things that are happening. Things that are happening, or they're not getting this much money. Mm-hmm. But I like the questions I asked. Where did it go? Did it just get cut out, or was it because the federal government is actually freezing these Title V? I don't know either. I'm asking. And the money that does do it, like if you're having teachers. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand the need to have kids to go back to school, right? 'Cause, again, to get them out of their home as well, get them food, get them all those type of things. but teachers are concerned about their safety and health. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how we
A
can
lot of
have
them are
such
older too.
Yeah.
I was wondering how they were going to do that anyway. The teachers at my kids' school are old.
Are older, okay?
I'm like, that's a risk.
I'm sure that someone got diabetes, someone had cancer, someone had. I mean, we
Yeah.
have the fundraisers all year long.
Yeah.
Right? For the teachers.
Right.
For the teachers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So all I'm like, why can't we think about this in a different manner? Like, why does it have to be? They're trying to hold it into this box. It's like this box that does not work. Our education system is not set up for this. It wasn't set up well before for
Yeah.
our children, black children, who are having a hard time being there anyway,
Mhm.
right? Families who are in poverty having a hard time showing up anyway, and you're trying to like squeeze this like. That's like so January of 2020, like, you know,
Yeah,
August
right.
2020 ain't the same, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't the same. You cannot be having the same conversation.
This is a recurring theme that is happening. It's happening for everyone personally, like a micro, and it's happening on the macro. Government's not working. Quit trying to squeeze it into a box.
Right.
Education, not working. Social structures, not working. And there's a lot of resistance. People are like, no. But if we don't flow with it
Yeah.
and start being creative, shit's gonna. It's just
Okay,
gonna,
let me tell you like this. This is how I feel about this, and I don't give a shit who does not want to hear this mess. But I'm gonna say it out loud. Black women are talking to y'all, right?
Mhm.
Who in this country, and I always say the lowest denominator of this country is black folks, and besides black men, black women, right?
Mhm.
But yet we're able and have always been able to create outside the box in order to survive.
Yeah.
Right? Who is still trying to create this structure and keep this structure in place? Old white folks,
Yeah.
men and women.
Mhm.
Who can survive in this mess? Black women, black men, poor folks who have been making ends meet ever since.
Yeah.
You want some creative ideas? Different people need to be asked how to make this work.
That's very true because like we keep saying, all this shit's been happening.
White folks just trying to hold on to their damn place. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You can't come up with an idea like this and tell me you got people's benefits in your mind. I'm sorry.
Right.
You telling me that they can't come up with what we just came up with on the couch? We didn't think about that shit.
We never talked about that. But I'm sitting here like, damn, that's a damn good idea. You need
All
to,
I'm saying-
you need to make a phone call.
Look, I'm busy. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to survive over here.
Right? But I mean, you have to. That is a really good point you brought up because black people, people of color, surviving day to day have to be so creative.
Yes, girl, yes.
And I feel like that is where some of my ability to be adaptable comes from.
Of course.
Like, so
They
that.
don't come because you had money and privilege your
Yeah,
whole life.
we're the people that you need to be asking to come up with these ideas. More black people. That's it. Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to
I
say,
gotta absorb
bring up,
that.
if you want to talk about how to utilize,
What it is you got.
resources, right?
What it
Ask
is you
people who
got.
ain't got it. They'll tell you what to
Yes,
do with it.
exactly what to do with it.
Right?
That's true.
That's all I'm saying. It's something different going on
Mm-hmm.
that we don't have real solutions.
Right.
It's not because they can't come up with it. It's because the people we are allowing to be there and hold the money to keep the solutions coming is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Who is coming up with the solutions? People who don't even know what it means to be without it, right?
Yes.
How are we
Yeah.
doing that
And
to our
it's just-
children?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I don't know how I can ask a teacher to come teach my kid and this kid and blah blah at this point. They're not getting paid.
Yeah.
They need to be
Yeah.
paid to do these things.
Yeah.
Right?
They do.
I'm not resourced to pay a girl, oh my God, a South Eugene school. I'm not going to say which one. I should say which one, but I'm just going to leave it alone. I was like, they were mad. Some budgets were cut. This was a few years back. A few years. And the budget was cut, and they were like, we have to save our teachers. So all the rich folks put enough money in to make this 2 teachers' salary for the year. Do you realize what that means?
Damn.
That was by donation. They wanted to keep those teachers for the next 2 teachers for the next year by parent donation, right?
Right.
That's $60,000. That's $120,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right, and their benefits, like you took care of 2 people, like you just did that because you like I want my daughter to have that teacher.
Okay, we
That's
need
a
more
moves.
of that.
That's
yeah.
a move.
Yeah.
Right. That's a move.
That's what it's gonna take.
That's a
You're talking about
resource
people
move.
like people continuing to do stuff and put their people over money. We're worried about the people with all this privilege continuing to contribute. That's the move. Those are the type of moves that have to happen.
And I'm saying, I'm sorry, you've got 13 billion. I'm looking at Bezos, and I realize that there is no Bezos. Well, maybe there is a Bezos in our community.
There actually is.
Right?
There are. I have taught their kids dance. I know that there are people with that kind of money here.
But okay,
there are more than one
saying,
family.
I don't know if you lose a couple billion if you're gonna be hurting. I mean, no. I don't know.
Yeah.
A couple billion ain't gonna hurt nobody when you got $420 billion. What are you talking about right now?
We're just not at the place. We haven't been at the place where we care about anybody but ourselves.
I'm literally looking at white folks like the rich white folks, right? Even the broke white folks, still because of their skin and because of their perceived privilege of all of the history that we talk about every single week. You know what I'm saying? I'm still looking at them like, you know somebody who's got some money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know your auntie, uncle, somebody back there got something.
Did you do a talk about this? We were having this discussion about how poor white people relate to black people better, and what that means and why that is. Have you done a cast about that?
Girl, no, because I'm like, no, because I don't think about. Let me stop.
About class and race. We'll go with that. Class and race.
Right. I have not talked about that yet. Not to say that I won't talk about it. I like to make this conversation, I like to make my space about black stuff. Right. And I don't know how much that's in my world. Yeah. But and I actually need guests to come and tell me what you want to talk about and come and sit and have a conversation.
It
doesn't have to be me.
From the black perspective of relating to white people, the types of white people that they relate to are.
They would need to come from that perspective.
That's what I'm saying.
For me, yes. Yeah.
And how black people feel about that.
Yeah, and I want to put that out there. Please, because it doesn't have to be that I generate this conversation. If there's black folks out here, people of color out here who are I got something to say, come talk to me about it, and let's do it. You know what I mean? That's what this space is for. It's for us to be able to say what we want, how we want to say it. Yeah. You know what I mean? For BIPOC people, come to the couch, right?
I mean,
yeah. That's how I feel about it. And that conversation, let's have it. I haven't thought about that.
I mean, the reason I bring it up is because you were talking about white people with money as opposed to people, white people just, somebody that knows somebody or whatever. Yeah. But I'm thinking here about how, as, where I'm at, how I wouldn't even know how to approach a white person with that much money.
Okay.
I wouldn't know what to say. That's something that I'm totally unfamiliar with.
You gotta speak their language. You gotta write it to them in a grant. You gotta be like, here you go.
I gotta present a document.
You gotta present a whole damn thing, a presentation, a proposal.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do with people like that.
But that's how white people.
That's how they think.
That's how average white people have to use their privilege to help out to really help out the community, to the kids of color and the people who are economically disadvantaged, to get them. I mean, if families can throw together 2 teachers' salaries, if you really care. And you have that white privilege, you need to be rallying for other people in the community to create a fund so that we can get our kids educated.
I think that the super important part of what you just said to me, I feel like it goes along with what I'm saying is the fact these pods, this homeschooling stuff, this is keeping your resources in.
Yeah, they need to go. They need to be for the better of the whole community. You gotta start thinking about
community.
Yeah.
And community does not mean your white neighbor.
It doesn't.
Especially if you want to be anti-racist. Mm-hmm. It all goes together.
Yeah.
Please understand that your little, okay, I'm going to tell a story. My naturopath, who's amazing, she is not from here, of course, and she comes back, she comes in, and she says, she remembers we were having a conversation, and we were talking about her child, she's white, and her child going to a South Eugene school, and she was horrified, because she was they see nothing but white people. Yeah. They see nothing but white people. And she's white, her husband's white, her children are white, and she was this is irresponsible. The fact that they're
irresponsible. It's a good word. Irresponsible.
Right? Yeah. So, because the idea is that, when you're white, and the only thing that you think about and care about and talk about is white, all your resources and conversations are going to be white-centered. Right. Yeah. Centering you and everything that has to do with you. But if you want to be pro-community, if you want to be progressive, if you want to be, anti-racist, any of those things, and those are the people who are talking about I'll just homeschool, or those same people who are talking about pod school. Those are all the liberal, progressive, anti-racist people who are not thinking about
anybody but beyond.
Yeah. That black folks, just so you know, are community-based people, right? That's a straight up blanketed, a generalization. But the way when you are in community, village raises a child.
I was gonna say it's in the blood.
A village raises a child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's up? We are not resourced like your resource.
Right.
Here we are. Ask us for the ideas. You gotta bring them up. Let's pull together our strengths, right? If we're out here hustling, because that's how black folks do. You know, that's how we've come up to where we are.
Right.
That, you know, Jay-Z didn't get that $1 million loan. You know what I'm saying? Like, we came and we're going up. It's the same, I'm using like extreme rich folks, but those are what people always, well, what about LeBron? What about Jay? They're rich, so it's all equal. Like, look, it's not. How they got there is not the same way that all these other people got here, right? It's from a hustle that is in a different form than the hustle that their white counterparts are hustling.
Right.
So I'm saying, here we are, September, August, where are we? July, August, September.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the school year, girl. I'm not even in July. I'm like, oh, September's coming.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So September's coming, and I'm thinking, if we're really going to be doing this work, like community work, anti-racism work, you know, you guys white folks are doing self-work. Black folks are doing, you know, we're hustling, we're bringing it up, we're working. We have got to understand that all of our shit has to tie together.
Yeah.
We have to tie it all together. All of our strengths have to be tied to help the people who have always been dependent on a system that has continuously failed them.
Well, and you said it earlier. The people that are at the table making these decisions are not creative because they haven't ever had to be creative in this way. And if we don't make the effort, if the people who are creating these pods don't make the effort to extend their privilege and make these resources available to all kids, we are doomed. Because the kids that are going to grow up and make these kind of changes and implement them are the kids that look like us.
Right.
The kids that are going through it right now who need that access, that safe space so that they can let their mind work and use their creativity. They need a space where they can feel safe so their creativity can flourish.
Right, that's right.
And like that's not going to happen unless and we're going to be doomed. Like the future's going to be doomed if we don't figure out a way to include all of these kids.
Everybody knows that when you're in business, you're a businesswoman. I need to learn from you now that I'm trying to be in business, honestly. But everyone knows it takes a team of creatives and then the numbers. Yeah. Right? You got to do that together.
I have never done this by myself.
Right.
Ever. I mean, at any given time, at any one thing that I do, I probably like in an independent project.
Right.
It's me and 5 other people.
But people who are doing that work, there's people there who know how to crunch numbers.
Yeah.
And then there's people there who know how to relate to people.
Right. It's not just it's
not hoarding all the money.
But it is a community effort.
That's right.
Always. On an individual project. Yeah. The whole business itself is a community effort. Each little project is a community effort.
Right.
It's never just me. Oh no.
Right.
And that is a mistake that I made the first time around because I had a studio that closed.
Oh.
Out in West Eugene. That is the big mistake that I made the first time around. I was trying to do it all.
Yeah.
And be like, I got it. It's the ego. No, you don't got it. You've got one part of it.
Right.
Utilize your community. Open yourself up. Like, allow people in. Share your resource. Like, once I became like that and once I realized that everything's got to be connected like that, that's when it grew.
And then, of course, you have to find your team.
You have to find your team. That takes time.
But I think, though, like what we're talking about, the team is not about, at this point, it's really not about black and white when you're talking about your team, when we're talking about our kids.
No.
Right?
Right.
It's not about black and white.
It's a community.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about our children, you know? And if you want it to be an all white situation, then keep on. Right? It ain't gonna work for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be super uncomfortable next year. Because this is all coming to roost, baby. Like it's all coming to roost, right?
It is, yeah.
So you have to understand that the future is happening. And what you see is what is real. Yeah. Black Lives Matter is a police situation, but it's at the same time a human rights issue. Yeah. Black lives. Without the lives.
Yeah.
You know, the whole damn thing. my conversations a lot lately. Not just the trauma of Black lives.
Yeah.
The whole rigmarole,
Yeah.
right? Like, you got to be able to get in there and understand that this is our children too, our education too. Matter of fact, if you don't want to think about it for us, think about it for your children.
Yeah.
If they never see anybody else, who are they going to be when they grow up? If
Right.
they are not exposed to culture and language and style, different things that are different than what they see every day, who are they going to be?
And they're going to be the same people we got sitting at the table doing the same shit
damn thing
over
now.
and
They
over.
got us all in this situation right now.
It comes full circle. It's
right?
full circle.
Girl, I think we did the damn thing today.
Damn.
Okay. Right? I mean, like, this is the conversation we had, right? Okay, and I feel like I have like 5 more hours to talk about it.
Right?
I'm just so pumped up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's a lot to think about, to go home and think about, because I was like trying to wrap my head around I still don't know what I'm going to do with my kids.
Yeah.
But like what we just talked about is what needs to happen.
There's so much funding out there that was not able to be used for school projects since March.
There's
There's funding out there. Did they take it back? They don't usually do that.
I don't know.
That's not usually how grants and loans.
No, it doesn't work like that. It has to be moved out.
It has to be.
Yeah.
So where? And I'm not going to name any names, but I know you know. I know you have it, right?
Yeah, right.
And you're going, I'm thinking about sending out care boxes. Is that the best that we can do?
No.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think so, though.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. Like, let's go outside our team. Let's do community councils. Ask the community. Say, hey, we'll pay you a little bit, to sit here and let's do a community council. What are you guys really needing?
Yeah.
What is really your concern?
Yeah, who
Not
has
about
asked
what the
the
statistics
community?
are saying.
Yeah.
Because we all know statistics are bullshit.
They're
Who
not.
did you ask? Who was it? How many people were there? And what was it representative? And most of the time, it is none of those things.
No.
So go out and get involved with who you're actually trying to be concerned with. Teachers are concerned about children. Mothers and fathers are concerned about teachers teaching their children. We're all concerned about the children.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the community is growing up about the children, and yet the money is being held somewhere. The teachers are worried about, going back to school, getting sick, teaching their children. They're not teachers because they love to have 80 children tell them that they're not going to do something all day.
Right.
They love it because they want to teach.
Yeah.
They love children to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They want to give something that they didn't have, or they want to give something more that they did get.
Right.
That teachers in this environment is essential. You know what I mean? But it's not good because we allowed it to get to where it is. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think a lot of people are like, school and yeah, the curriculum is because we allowed it to be that way.
Yeah.
We all know
But
better.
we all have the ability to step up and be like, this is how it needs to be.
This is what
I
we
really
want.
believe that. The schools are public schools. They're supposed to be for people.
Indigenous curriculum just got added to our schools.
Yeah.
Black curriculum still is not. We have to fight for ethnic studies to be added. Still not, only to, I think, high school and maybe some
I
middle
think
schools.
I think I saw high school. Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So change, is possible. And we're only doing it a little bit because we know that's all these white folks can take.
Right.
Because the truth of it is we want all of it rewritten.
Right.
We want the whole damn thing rewritten.
Right.
But we're just going, right now, they will let us talk about ethnic studies.
Yeah.
And we'll take ethnic studies. And I'm going, we gotta say ethnic studies, we can't say real black studies? Like, why can't we do? And there's different. Right? And so the thing about it is that if we come as a community and
All
talk
of
about
us.
what's real, right now everything's falling apart.
Right.
So
It's now's the time to do it. Right now is the time. Right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Now until January. Oh my gosh, till January. Moving forward, and I'm not saying stop in January, I'm just saying we gotta push through this
Push it
election.
hard, yeah.
We gotta push through, right?
Yeah.
And let's not leave little Timmy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just like, let's not leave Jamal.
Yeah.
Come on, babies.
Yeah.
The kids who are out there, domestic violence is real. Like you said, all that stuff is happening at their homes,
Yeah.
Why don't they have Wi-Fi? Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's where I'm at. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thanks
once
for having
again for being here. This was good.
That
This
was
a good
good.
conversation.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, let me go see. I'll read.
There's a lot of stuff popping up on there.
I know. Let me stop this because this part I always just take out anyway because don't nobody on the podcast want to hear that. Okay. So okay. There was a lot going on here. So if you have a business cards, I would love to keep some at my station at the salon. Okay. You have business cards, right?
I don't.
You don't?
Not
I
with-
don't either. Okay, we'll make some. Okay, let's see. Yes, now there's an opportunity for complete redesign and reconstruction. Thank you, ladies. You are welcome, Lindsay. Let's see.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot here. That point about money attachment resonates a lot, Vanessa. Thank you for pointing that out. Definitely something to examine. And how many children are going to be full-time caregivers to their siblings? Right?
Whoa.
Right? That is such a good point.
Like high schoolers and their younger siblings.
Okay, not even being able to do their work because their mom has to go to work, right? And they're
These
like,
babies grow up too fast.
look, I'll be doing my homework at midnight because mom gets home at 10 from the gas station or wherever she's working. Like, that is such a good point. I said, I am truly scared about what's going to happen, the education to our kids. How is right. People are living in such a false sense of reality. Hey, beautiful ladies. Hey, Carol. I say, you are on like life number 5. Laugh out loud psychology. I know, it's true. I know. It says, how do we remain relevant? And yes, we have not received the level of economic purchase. That's from Kakai. Hey. And then Lindsay says, yes, Vanessa, essential work is just 100% diversity, education, mental health, and arts need to support always. I feel like the arts is like, there's always kind of that conversation as if it's not needed. What the first thing they did when they started cutting funding from school, they cut gym, they cut arts, they cut band, they cut music.
Choir,
all of the things that are absolutely essential to creative thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's crap. It says they need our stamp of
If
approval.
people can't creatively think, then everything stays the same to the advantage of money over people.
Right. So Kakai says, yes, they, in quotations, need our stamp of approval. However, yes, they are correct. White saviorism is not a business plan. Okay, right? Right? They do not wish to be affected by medicine. Yes, it is money over people. Black women hustle, white women hustle, comparison and contrast. We can hear you both clear. Thank you. Yay. That's good. Yes, make that money. So on time for a change. Hi. My mom was saying she came in on time because she always comes in at the end. But Mama, you were always on time. Okay. Let's see. Amy Fell. Let's see. Yeah, that was all it. So thank you guys so much. Oh wait, there's more coming down here. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh, I work with Sheree. Oh, okay, Cassie. Yes. Oh, I'm excited about working at the hair salon. Yes, I will get some cards or something. How long has it been? I haven't used cards in a long time.
I don't use them, but I have like schedules, like little pamphlets with dance schedules. I just never have cards.
That's a good idea. So she's at Nirvana.
Okay,
and that's what Sheree is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Sheree.
So we will definitely do it. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, and we are out.